Somewhere in Yemen, a shadow unit is changing the rules of war. No names, no ranks, just results. They eliminate targets, dismantle networks, and disappear like smoke. No one claims them. Everyone fears them. But to understand their true dominance, we must first uncover the world's most elite special forces, relentless, precise, built to kill. 18 of the most brutal, highly trained teams on Earth. But even they can't match the silent force, rewriting the rules in Yemen. Number 18, COBRA, Austria. When discussing the world's top special forces, most think of units from the US, Russia, or the UK. But at the heart of Europe, Austria's COBRA has quietly built a reputation as one of the most effective counterterrorism forces in the world. Unlike military special forces, COBRA is a police unit, but they don't handle everyday crimes. They are Austria's last line of defense, deployed when every other solution has failed. No negotiations, no compromises. When COBRA arrives, everything ends, immediately. Only Austria's best police officers are allowed to apply, but that doesn't mean passing is easy. Over 90% of candidates fail due to the unit's extreme selection process. Physical conditioning is critical, but mental resilience is even more important. Instructors simulate high-stress hostage situations, testing candidates' ability to remain calm, think fast, and act decisively. COBRA is not a military force. They don't fight wars or conduct drawn-out battles. Their mission is simple yet deadly: eliminate threats in the shortest time possible. Their arsenal includes Steyr AUG, Glock 17, and MP5. High-speed, lightweight weapons designed for close-quarters combat in airplanes, trains, and urban environments. COBRA has carried out hundreds of successful counter-terrorism and hostage rescue missions. But their most legendary operation was the 1996 airborne raid. The first time in history, a hijacked plane was retaken while still in the air. Not a single hostage was harmed. Not a single terrorist survived. COBRA operates in silence. They don't seek publicity or recognition. But for those who threaten Austria's security, their arrival means there is no escape. Moving from Austria to the heart of Italy, we meet a unit born not for war, but to battle the shadows of the mafia. Number 17, GIS, Italy's mafia hunters. In Italy, the enemies of the government are not just terrorist organizations or international criminals. They are also the mafia gangs whose power stretches across the entire country. To confront these criminal organizations, the Italian government established GIS, one of the most elite special forces units in Europe. GIS is not like ordinary law enforcement units. They don't wear uniforms. They don't patrol the streets. They hunt their targets in the shadows, raid criminal hideouts, and end everything within seconds. Not everyone can become a member of GIS. Candidates must pass a grueling 9-month training program where they learn to fight in urban environments, assault fortified mafia strongholds, and handle high-stakes hostage situations. But more important than anything is the psychological challenge. They must remain calm, even when facing the most dangerous criminals, individuals who can bribe, threaten, or even be willing to commit suicide rather than be captured. GIS has conducted hundreds of raids on mafia hideouts, capturing or eliminating many notorious crime bosses. One of their most famous operations was the arrest of Salvatore Riina in 1993, a man once known as the godfather of all godfathers within the Cosa Nostra organization. When GIS arrives, every door is broken down, every escape route is blocked. They don't issue warnings, they come to end the game. From the quiet streets of Europe to the violent favelas of Brazil, our next unit doesn't just fight crime, they declare war. Number 16, BOPE, Brazil's Death Warriors. If you think war only happens on distant battlefields, then you've never stepped into the favelas, the notorious slums of Brazil, in places where regular police officers don't dare to enter, where machine guns and grenades dictate power. There's only one force willing to challenge this chaotic order: BOPE. BOPE officers are not ordinary policemen. They are Brazil's most ruthless crime-fighting force, specializing in raids against drug cartels. These men don't carry handcuffs, they carry assault rifles, grenades, and a readiness to eliminate anyone who stands against them. Becoming a member of BOPE is a process that breaks one's will. Known as one of the toughest special forces training programs in the world, BOPE has a dropout rate of over 95%. Candidates must endure a grueling 60-day hell week where they face sleep deprivation, starvation, psychological torture, and are constantly pushed to complete impossible missions. If they don't display resilience and decisiveness from the start, they are immediately eliminated. One of the most brutal tests is the tear gas chamber, where candidates are locked in a sealed room filled with tear gas without a gas mask. They must remain calm and devise combat strategies under conditions where they can barely breathe. Anyone who panics or fails to endure is instantly expelled. But the real test isn't in training, it's on the battlefield. BOPE is not a covert special forces unit. They openly declare war against heavily armed gangs. They don't shy away from danger. Instead, they charge headfirst into alleys filled with gunfire, fighting like fearless warriors. BOPE doesn't use simple handguns. They carry FN SCAR rifles, Benelli M4 Super 90 shotguns, and HK-MP5 submachine guns, the most advanced weaponry for urban combat. They are not trained like police officers, they are trained like elite military commandos. BOPE's operations are unlike any other special forces unit. When they enter a favela, they don't seek negotiations. They come to eliminate. No mercy, no compromise. If you are a criminal in Brazil, you have only two choices: surrender immediately or be annihilated. Number 15, Frogman Corps. In the world of elite special forces, one name isn't often mentioned, but when it appears, it strikes fear. Denmark's Frogman Corps. With only 150 members, this small but deadly unit has made their Viking ancestors proud with their grueling training and formidable combat skills. Specializing in naval operations, such as reconnaissance, sabotage, and counter-terrorism, the Frogman Corps endures brutal physical and mental training. Candidates must pass extreme endurance tests, including long-distance running, ruck marches, and intense swimming challenges. They are subjected to ice-cold water immersion training to withstand hypothermia, alongside advanced skills like bomb disposal and nighttime combat operations. Armed with MP5 submachine guns, Sig Sauer P226 pistols, and HK416 assault rifles, the Frogman Corps has participated in numerous international missions, including anti-piracy operations off the coast of Somalia. Their training is so extreme that it raises the question, is there anything harder than this? The Frogman Corps is more than just a special forces unit. They are the descendants of legendary Viking warriors, always ready to face any challenge to protect their homeland. Despite their small numbers, they have proven that true strength lies not in size, but in the sheer will and skill of each individual warrior. Born from tragedy shaped by necessity, the next special force changed how Europe fights terror. Number 14, GSG-9. Germany, unlike many other special forces units, GSG-9 was not born from the battlefield but from tragedy. In 1972, the world was shocked by the Munich Olympics terrorist attack when the extremist group Black September kidnapped and murdered 11 Israeli athletes. At the time, Germany did not have a specialized counter-terrorism unit to handle such situations, resulting in a disastrous rescue attempt. Just 1 year later, in 1973, the German government established GSG-9, Europe's premier counter-terrorism unit. They are not only tasked with counter-terrorism, hostage rescue, and dismantling organized crime, but are also experts in high-speed raids where everything must be resolved within seconds. GSG-9 is not for those who hesitate. Candidates must undergo a rigorous 4-month selection process where they must demonstrate the ability to make split-second decisions. If you hesitate, you're out. Extreme speed in shooting and reaction time. A test requires hitting 10 targets in under 5 seconds. Psychological resilience. A simulation where candidates must rescue hostages. But the hostages are booby-trapped by the enemy. Only those with nerves of steel can make the right call. Those who survive the selection phase undergo intense training alongside Delta Force and SAS before officially becoming a GSG-9 operative. In 1977, GSG-9 carried out Operation Mogadishu, successfully rescuing 86 hostages aboard Lufthansa Flight 181 in just 7 minutes. without a single hostage being killed. They don't fight battles that last for hours, they end them before the enemy can react. When GSG-9 appears, there is no escape. We now cross continents to the Korean Peninsula, where a shadow force moves unseen and strikes without warning. Number 13, 707th SMB, South Korea. If South Korea has a special forces unit worthy of being called the Delta Force of Asia, it is the 707th Special Mission Battalion. Established in 1982, the 707th SMB is South Korea's most elite special operations force, specializing in assassinations, counter-terrorism, and hostage rescue missions. They do not appear in the media, nor do they flaunt their power. But when duty calls, they are the sharpest blade in South Korea's military arsenal. The 707th SMB has an extreme selection process, eliminating 90% of candidates in the first round alone. Those who pass the basic physical test must then face brutal challenges such as halo parachute jumps from 8,000 meters, landing without the aid of GPS navigation. Engaging in continuous hand-to-hand combat against 3 opponents using only unarmed combat techniques. Conducting covert operations in enemy territory, passing stealth assessments without being detected. Those who survive these trials are trained to become assassins in the shadows, ready to execute the most dangerous missions the South Korean government does not want to be made public. The 707th SMB has been involved in numerous high-stakes hostage rescues and assassination missions, but all of them remain classified. Reports suggest that they have infiltrated North Korean territory to gather intelligence, though the South Korean government has never confirmed this. When the 707th SMB strikes, there are no traces, no witnesses, and no one knows what happened. From Asia's silent assassins, we head to Eastern Europe, where a ghost unit answers only to precision. Number 12, GROM, Poland. When discussing the most elite special forces in the world, Poland's GROM may not be a name widely recognized. However, it is precisely this secrecy that makes them formidable. GROM are not ordinary soldiers. They are ghosts in the underground world, called upon when a mission requires absolute secrecy and precision down to the millimeter. Founded in the 1990s, GROM quickly established itself through a series of high-risk, yet incredibly successful operations. They are NATO's reliable right hand in counter-terrorism and hostage rescue missions. Despite being highly regarded by international allies, GROM has always maintained an admirably discreet profile. To become a member of GROM, soldiers must undergo a training process so grueling it seems almost impossible. They must not only master basic combat skills, but also excel in extreme situations. One of the most terrifying challenges is cold water combat diving. Imagine holding your breath for 2 minutes in near freezing water, performing a mission while maintaining composure to avoid thermal shock. Only those with steel resolve can pass this test. But that's not all. GROM is also known for having some of the strictest regulations. Members are forbidden from drinking alcohol, engaging in brawls, or even drawing attention in public. The reason is simple. They are just too dangerous. Even without weapons, these warriors can still become a deadly threat. With a size of only about 1,500 personnel, GROM is equipped with the most advanced weapons and equipment. The Polish FBMSBS modular assault rifle is their primary weapon, customizable to suit various missions. They also use Glock handguns, MP5 submachine guns, Remington 870 shotguns, and Beretta M82 sniper rifles. Every operation is meticulously planned, from preparation to completion, ensuring no trace is left behind. GROM may not be as famous as some other special forces units, but that is their strength. They operate in the shadows, accomplishing their missions quietly and effectively. While there are still many challenges ahead, especially when facing opponents like Russia, GROM has proven they deserve to be recognized as one of the most formidable special forces in the world. They don't need the spotlight because for GROM, success is when no one knows they were ever there. Now we shift to the United States, where strategy meets stealth. Number 11, Green Berets, U.S. Among the world's elite special forces, the Green Berets hold a unique place. Unlike SEAL Team 6 or Delta Force, whose missions focus on rapid elimination, the Green Berets specialize in covert infiltration, force building, and unconventional warfare. They are not just warriors, they are strategists, diplomats, and revolutionaries. Green Berets don't seek glory. They embed themselves deep within enemy lines, training and organizing local forces to create internal uprisings. They don't just fight battles, they change the course of wars from within. Becoming a Green Beret requires more than just combat skills. Their infamous Robin Sage test places candidates in a simulated war zone where they must gain the trust of resistance fighters and orchestrate a rebellion. This intense test lasts for weeks, with candidates forced to make real-time decisions under relentless pressure. Failure to build alliances or execute sound tactics means immediate disqualification. Only 20 to 30% survive the selection process, as the Green Berets seek not just strong fighters, but brilliant minds capable of shaping conflicts from the shadows. Green Berets are highly skilled in combat using HK-416s, M4A1SOP MODs, and Mk-12 sniper rifles, but their true power lies in psychological warfare and unconventional tactics. From Vietnam to Afghanistan, they have trained and organized guerrilla forces, turning small resistance groups into armies capable of destabilizing enemy regimes. They don't need to fight in the open. They make their enemies collapse from within. Number 10, SSG, Pakistan's Desert Phantoms. In the unforgiving borderlands between Pakistan and Afghanistan, where insurgents hide in caves, SSG ensures they never rest. Known as the Desert Phantoms, they execute covert missions the Pakistani government rarely acknowledges. Only 5% of applicants survive the grueling selection process. Candidates must complete the Death March, a 50-kilometer trek across mountains with a 30-kilogram load in under 12 hours. Those who endure must pass a desert survival test where they are left without food or water for a week. SSG masters ground, air, and sea warfare. They train for halo jumps from 10,000 meters, requiring flawless precision. Armed with Steyr AUGs, FNP-90s, and Dragunov SVDs, their true weapon is stealth and speed. Their missions remain classified, but they have repeatedly engaged Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and terrorist groups. If you are an enemy hiding in a cave, you may never see the SSG coming, because by the time they appear, the battle is already over. Number 9, GIGN, France's elite special forces unit, renowned for its counter-terrorism, hostage rescue, and high-risk operations. With approximately 400 members, they undergo an extremely rigorous selection process designed to identify the toughest individuals. The training starts with brutal tests, such as swimming with limbs bound, running 8 kilometers with a 20-kilogram backpack, and walking on unstable planks, all under intense supervision. One of the most famous tests involves candidates wearing body armor and carrying a clay disc around their neck while a fellow member tries to hit the target. Only the strongest, most persistent warriors with steel mental fortitude can pass this challenge. GIGN has carried out several high-profile rescues, including the 1994 Air France 8969 hijacking and a 2010 rescue of French nationals in Yemen. These remarkable feats have cemented GIGN's reputation as one of the most respected and feared special forces in the world. Number 8, JTF-2, Canada's Invisible Phantoms. In the world of covert operations, some forces operate so discreetly that even their enemies never realize they were there. JTF-2 is one of them, an elite Canadian Special Forces unit that eliminates threats before they escalate. JTF-2 exists in secrecy. The Canadian government rarely acknowledges their operations, and nearly all information about them is classified. If a mission is too dangerous or too sensitive for conventional units, that's when JTF-2 steps in. Their brutal selection process has a 1% success rate, testing physical endurance, mental resilience, and tactical skill. In their infamous The Hunt test, candidates must survive for days in a remote area while being hunted by veteran JTF-2 operatives. If caught, they face simulated interrogations to test their resilience. JTF-2 is equipped with C8 carbines, Macmillan TAC-50 sniper rifles, and Glock 17s. But their greatest weapon is their ability to operate undetected. Specializing in raids, counterterrorism, and covert reconnaissance, they have executed missions in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. Yet no official records confirm their presence. They leave no traces, seek no recognition. If you hear their name, it means they have already completed the mission, and their enemies no longer exist. Number 7. SASR, Australia's Desert Commandos. When people think of SAS, they often associate it with the British Special Air Service, but Australia's SASR is equally elite. As the premier special operations unit of the Australian Defence Force, SASR operates in complete secrecy, executing high-risk missions across the globe. From Afghanistan's battlefields to Iraq's deserts and Southeast Asia's jungles, SASR has proven its ability to survive and dominate in any environment. Becoming a member of SASR requires more than physical endurance. It demands unbreakable resilience. Candidates undergo 21 to 30 days of brutal testing, pushing them past their mental and physical limits. One of the most notorious tests is the Final March, a 150-kilometer trek through the Australian desert, carrying only a rifle, limited water, and no external support. In tactical drills, candidates face simulated combat scenarios, where they must survive for days behind enemy lines, completely cut off from reinforcements. Over 85% of applicants are eliminated within the first week, proving that only the most adaptable and determined can earn the SASR insignia. SASR does not seek direct battles. They specialize in asymmetric warfare, deep reconnaissance, and surgical strikes. Armed with HK-417s, FN Minimus, and Glock 19s, their most powerful weapon is adaptability. They can survive alone for weeks, navigate hostile terrain, and eliminate high-value targets without a trace. During the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, SASR executed hundreds of classified missions, including hostage rescues, targeted assassinations, and enemy-base destruction. However, due to the highly secretive nature of their operations, almost no details have been publicly disclosed. They don't seek recognition. Their only goal is ensuring their enemies never see another day. Number 6. Alpha Group. Russia may be facing numerous challenges on the modern battlefield, but make no mistake, Alpha Group remains its most fearsome special forces unit. Operating under the motto, "Where Alpha Group appears, compromise ends," this elite force does not negotiate or bargain. They have only one objective: to eliminate threats quickly, efficiently, and ruthlessly. Alpha Group does not concern itself with leaving traces or collateral damage, as long as the mission is completed. A prime example is the 2002 Moscow theater hostage crisis. When hundreds of civilians were taken hostage by Chechen terrorists, Alpha Group stormed in and eliminated all the attackers. However, their brutal suppression tactics led to over 100 hostages losing their lives as well. This is the dark side of Alpha Group: absolute efficiency, but with no room for mercy. Not just anyone can join the ranks of Alpha Group. Candidates must pass grueling tests of physical endurance, psychological resilience, intelligence, and combat skills. Those who make it through enter a training regimen that is not for the weak. Their drills include sniper training, close-quarters combat, explosives handling, reconnaissance, and survival in extreme conditions. One of the most feared challenges is the pain endurance test, where recruits are pushed to their physical and mental limits, even learning how to perform emergency surgery on themselves in the event of severe injury. Alpha Group is also armed with some of the most advanced weaponry available. They wield the AK-47, an iconic weapon of modern warfare, the PKM machine gun for suppressive fire, and the Dragunov sniper rifle for long-range precision strikes. Unlike regular Russian military units, Alpha Group is always given the most cutting-edge gear to ensure their tactical advantage in combat. Unlike other special forces that operate in the shadows, Alpha Group does not hide. If they appear, it means someone is being hunted, and that person has little to no chance of escape. If one day you see Alpha Group advancing toward your position, understand this: the battle was over before it even began. Now we return to the United States, where legends are forged under pressure. Number 5. Navy SEAL Team 6. If you've ever wondered why the U.S. spends hundreds of billions of dollars on defense each year, look no further than Navy SEAL Team 6. As the world's most powerful military force, the U.S. is also home to one of the most dangerous and effective special operations units ever created. tasked with counter-terrorism and unconventional warfare. Earning a place in this elite team is no easy feat. Their training program is designed to break even the toughest minds and bodies. Candidates begin with grueling physical endurance tests, from intense strength training to high-intensity cardio. They are thrown into deep water with their hands tied behind their backs and must complete tasks using only their teeth. Brutal. That's just the warm-up. By week 4, they enter Hell Week, 5 days and nights of non-stop training with a total of only 4 hours of sleep. The exercises include long-distance runs while carrying boats overhead, crawling through mud, lifting 300-pound logs, and enduring surf torture, where they are repeatedly battered by freezing waves. By the end of Hell Week, 80% of candidates drop out. Those who survive face even harsher tests, including survival training and extreme cold resistance. In Alaska, recruits must stay submerged in freezing water for 8 minutes, just before their bodies reach irreversible hypothermia. It's no surprise that more SEALs die during training than on the battlefield. But those who make it through become virtually unstoppable warriors. Navy SEAL Team 6 is legendary for its high-profile counter-terrorism missions, including the 2011 raid that killed Osama bin Laden and the 2009 rescue of Captain Richard Phillips from Somali pirates. Despite their global reputation, they are not the most extreme special forces unit on the planet. But when SEAL Team 6 shows up, their enemies are already marked for death. Number 4. Sayeret Matkal, Israel. If there is one country in the world that has been surrounded by enemies for decades, it is Israel. And to survive in such a harsh environment, they need the strongest warriors. Sayeret Matkal, the most elite and secretive special forces unit of the Israel Defense Forces. They are not just a special forces unit, they are legends. The ones behind some of the most renowned operations in history, such as Operation Entebbe, 1976. One of the most daring hostage rescue missions ever undertaken. Sayeret Matkal's selection process has no set time limit, because it doesn't end until only the best remain. Candidates must endure weeks of survival training in the desert, equipped only with a map and compass, forced to survive without any external assistance. They must also complete psychological endurance tests, where they are subjected to simulated torture scenarios, required to remain silent even when their lives are threatened. Only those with nerves of steel, exceptional physical endurance, and sharp intelligence can pass. The rest? They are eliminated immediately. Sayeret Matkal does not fight like conventional special forces. They hide in the shadows, tracking their enemies for weeks, even months before striking. They use the IMI Tavor M4 carbine and Barrett M82 sniper rifle, weapons designed to eliminate targets in an instant without anyone noticing. They are warriors of the shadows, assassins that their enemies never see, until it's too late. Number 3. Delta Force. One of the most secretive and elite special forces units in the U.S., consistently faces seemingly impossible missions. Known for their high-stakes, covert operations, Delta Force rarely makes their successes public. They are the silent heroes, always ready to confront danger without fanfare. With only around 1,000 members, Delta Force's selection process is a brutal test of endurance and strength, designed to identify only the most resilient individuals. Their training not only tests physical prowess, but also challenges mental and emotional limits. Extreme exercises such as carrying enormous weights while running marathons, swimming in harsh conditions, and enduring unimaginable trials push applicants beyond ordinary limits. Only about 5% of candidates pass. Delta Force has participated in legendary missions, such as the 1989 invasion of Panama, Saddam Hussein's capture, and the Osama bin Laden raid. Though rarely seen in public, Delta Force remains a nightmare for enemies, ensuring that their missions are carried out with deadly precision. Number 2. SAS UK. The SAS is the most elite special forces unit in the British Army, known for their intense training program that only the toughest can survive. With around 400 to 500 members, every SAS warrior must endure a series of grueling tests, from running marathons with 25-kilogram backpacks to surviving the harsh conditions of the Indian jungle. They must also participate in the manhunt test, where candidates are hunted by other SAS members. Additionally, they undergo extreme endurance training in situations such as waterboarding and electric shocks. Only 1% of candidates make it through these challenges. The SAS is famous for completing highly sensitive missions, such as the 1980 Iranian embassy siege rescue and numerous other critical operations. With their exceptional combat skills and unmatched training, the SAS is regarded as the most formidable and feared special forces in the world. 1st JSOC Task Force in Yemen, USA. At the top of the list isn't just a unit, it's a shadow entity, built from the most lethal branches of American Special Operations. And right now, it's operating deep in Yemen. This is the J-SOC Task Force, a fusion of SEAL Team 6, Delta Force CIA ground branch officers and NSA cyber operatives. They answer to a single command. One objective: identify, eliminate, disappear. They wear no patches. They issue no statements. Their existence isn't found on paper, but inside the Pentagon they're known as Tier 0, a force designed to function outside red tape, beyond media scrutiny, and under absolute silence. It was forged after September 11th to act where bureaucracy fails. The unit reports to JSOC, the Joint Special Operations Command, but most of its missions are coordinated directly from the White House Situation Room, sometimes with real-time oversight from senior leadership. In Yemen, this task force is hunting high-value targets, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula operatives and key Houthi leadership, often backed by Iranian networks. These aren't traditional battles. They're surgical missions executed with precision, using drones, cyber intercepts, satellite surveillance, and human intelligence on the ground. Once a target is confirmed, the operation begins. It could be a Reaper strike from 30,000 feet. It could be a SEAL team landing in the desert under moonlight. Or a tribal informant, trained by the CIA, slipping a silencer through a tent flap. The first sign of their presence is nothing at all. A radio goes silent. A convoy never arrives. A man vanishes without a trace. These operations aren't meant to make headlines. They're designed to remove threats before the world even knows they existed. Inside the task force are America's deadliest: Delta Force assault leaders, SEAL breachers, CIA veterans from Afghanistan and Iraq, NSA analysts who can shut down entire networks from half a world away. Every operator is trained to work solo, deep in hostile territory, carrying only a sat phone, a bloodshed, and their mission. What sets them apart isn't just lethality, it's control. Drones soften targets. Cyber teams blind communications. Local informants are paid in crypto. The assault team is gone before sunrise, leaving behind only biometric proof of death and no evidence they were ever there. In 2017, one raid briefly reached public awareness. An assault on an AQAP compound that resulted in enemy casualties captured intel and the loss of Navy SEAL William Owens. But the real strike came hours later. A drone erased the rest of the fleeing cell and leveled the compound. No credit, no media, no names. And the task force is still out there. In Yemen's chaotic war, they move unseen, ending threats before they grow. Warlords, insurgents, foreign fighters. If your name is on the list, your time is already over. This isn't counterterrorism, it's total erasure.